Hey, welcome to Sunday Drive. A little later today, so already into hydrating. Coffee's done for the day. I think I've already had too much coffee. Anyway, this may be the last one for the year. We'll see what happens. I mean, we're into April here and super nice weather. I know everybody else, lots of people put their slot cars away for the summer. I usually do as well. We'll see what happens. I mean, we'll still be racing into May, and so I may sneak in a couple more Sunday drives. We'll see, but got to get outside, get the garden planted, and all that kind of jazz. So see what happens over the next couple of weeks. So today I thought I would kind of hold on to this one for a little while. It's one car that I really wanted for quite a while. I don't think it's rare. I don't think it's listed as rare, but anyway, for some reason it doesn't come around very often, and anybody that does have it wants, in my opinion, too much money for it, for what it is. Anyway, but it's more nostalgic for me than anything, so I thought it'd be kind of a neat one to do today. So I'm going to pull her out. It is the Tyco. Ooh, that's funny. I was just going to look at that because I think in the book it's actually labeled as, I think it's labeled as, where the heck did it go? Oh, it is labeled as an HP7. So I've got, it's come on the wrong body, but this is years made, 90 to 93. Is a 1990 T-Bird stock car. So this one, I'll show you the book here in a second, but it came in a bunch of NASCAR stock car designs, and it came in this design. Whoop-de-doo, right? Well, okay, so here's why I wanted this car. So, many years ago, I hate saying these things now because it makes me feel like a friggin' ancient sometimes, but so back in the 90s, I got this Dodge Charger. Look at this photograph. Doesn't really make me laugh, but that pink shirt's pretty awesome. It's probably a salt and pepper. I used to like those salt and pepper, all the beach wear back then. So that's my Dodge Charger from the 90s. This picture was taken. My mom is pretty handy at writing on these. 1992. So kind of funny. So this is my first motorbike. It's a little Kawasaki. What the heck was this? It was something really weird. It was because people used to argue with me all the time when I told them what it was. It was a Kawasaki 305 belt driven. So it had a belt instead of a chain, which, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like it's again, the maintenance was a lot less on it. It didn't have that quick pull off the start, I think because the rubber, had a little stretch to it. But that was my first and last introduction into motorbikes. I do want to get another one day, and I will. But so I got this. I sold this. I don't even know how I got that. I think my dad actually must have bought it for me because I don't think I had any money. But I sold that, bought that, and drove this. So my mom says I got it in July 92. I drove that until probably the fall. It was summer fall of 95, and then I sold it, and I bought a plane ticket to Vancouver, British Columbia, and I can't remember what I got for it. Not very much, a couple grand, but I got my flight out to Vancouver and first and last month's rent in an apartment with a couple buddies. Basically showed up in Vancouver with nothing. It's kind of my mode of operation, because after a number of months I had no money again because Vancouver is really expensive, and I borrowed. I always tell the story, but I borrowed $100 from my buddy Graham, and the Greyhound bus from Vancouver to Calgary was $99. And so I bought the bus ticket. I had $1 in my pocket. I bought a bag of chips. halfway. The bus stopped at some gas station so we could get something to eat, and I had $1 to buy a bag of chips. Showed up in Calgary, Alberta in, it was November. No, I left Belleville in November. It was early 96, I guess it was. I showed up in Calgary with zero money in my pocket and was planning on crashing on my buddy Chris's dad's couch for a couple months. And then after 3 months, he told me to get a job. So I did. And then I never went home. So that's my story. But anyway, that's the Dodge Charger. This is a Thunderbird. Not the same, but as close as the Tyco. As close as anybody's going to get, I think, to these Fox body cars. There's a few of the Fox body Mustangs out there, but this is pretty darn close, the same color, close enough for my liking. So this is why this car was kind of special to me. I wanted to, kind of reminded me of this car that my first car growing up. So yeah, this is as close as it is. And let's take a quick look at the car and see what it is and go for a drive. All right. So this is it. So what is this car actually, now that I ramble on about a Dodge Charger, which this is not, but this is a 1990 T-Bird. They got it listed as a stock car, Thunderbird SC. So there's a whole bunch of variations. Most of them are stock car lettering, numbering. There's a bunch of different things going on. This one in particular, it's a bit of a mess in the book, actually, but so it has with or without the Thunderbird SC on the windshield. So this one does have the SC on the windshield. It says it's supposed to come as a... Ooh, wait a minute. L. HP7. Oh, wow, interesting. Okay, so it's supposed to come with as a lit car. So it does have the cutouts for headlights. I'm going to have to change this. So I got it as a 440 chassis. Oh, so sorry, 440X2 chassis. So let's see, I might dig around and see if I have a lit one here before we run it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so this is the car. It either came with a lit HP7 or a TCR, so the total control racing, Tyco control racing, whatever that was, that wacky bunch of stuff. I do have some of that track. I'm going to dig it out one of these days and set it up. Try it out. Yeah, so it's a pretty cool car. It's got some sparkle paint. Obviously, it's a bit of bluish gray, which so was my Charger. And yeah, so that is it. According to the Tyco book, it came, so it's a number 3, average number 3, so pretty common out there, like I said, but for whatever reason, anybody that has it kind of just sits on it. So I don't know. Yeah, it looks like this came as a lit car. Maybe not a TCR. It's hard to see in this book because it's kind of got a another color one listed, the green and black number 34, which is another kind of NASCAR style that they did. That maybe that's the one that came as Total Control Racing. The book's a bit of a mess. It looks like they made a bunch of variations of this car. So anyway, that is it. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. My bag of tricks. I got, I don't know what I got here. What do these say? I bought these a while back here. Tyco chassis. $100 for 15. I think when I bought them all, I think there's actually like 20 or 25 in here. The guy just gave me a bunch of extra. These are all HP7s. Different wheel setups, different armatures, different stuff going on. So, and a couple of, wouldn't you guess, lit ones. Woohoo! So I found a HP7 chassis. Pretty close. Well, I don't know. I say to the original I had. So I had the basic silvery gray hubs that Tyco had. I was just about to throw a Porsche one on that had yellow hubs, and I realized I had this bag. So when you get to doing this long enough, you end up with random wacky stuff like this, which is pretty cool. I didn't have this for years, so that's awesome. Now we got a light in here. It's not super bright, or it's not super easy to see when you're running it. Running around here. Now again, like I think I've said in other videos, but the HP7 is my favorite Tyco chassis. It's hard to see, isn't it? Super awesome chassis. Fishtails a little bit. The magnets, there's magnets in it, but not a lot. So yeah, I do like it. The light doesn't show up. I mean, when you're giving it kind of the power that I can give it, if I give it full power, it does, but we don't get that. I can't get there with my power supply. So I don't know if anybody out there, anybody's watching this, knows, because in a lot of the Tycos, there's a little see-through plastic bit here that the light bulb will stick in and kind of direct the lights into the headlights. So I see here these two little flaps or whatnot. So potentially this car originally came with one of those light redirectors. So if anybody out there knows, let me know. And if you happen to have a couple random light redirectors, whatever the heck they're called, sitting in a box, you want to make a deal, let me know. Until then, we'll drive like this. And yeah, enjoy this Sunday drive. Oh, it's going to remind me of some good old days, eh? Driving around town. What would I be listening to? Not Nickelback. All right, let's do some driving. I got a little playlist playing. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but I want to get in trouble from YouTube. I get in trouble every time I have background music on. But just as I was thinking about some of this, maybe if I talk over it, sometimes it doesn't see it, but this is one of those back in the 90s. So my 1981 Dodge Charger at the time, so that was, but that I had it around the 90s, early 90s, 92 to 94, 95 maybe. Man, we used to drive, so where I grew up was about 2 hours from Toronto. We'd drive to Toronto, and there was I think it was a 4-level Sound the Record Man back then, 3 or 4 levels, but each level had different genres on it, whether it was your top 40 stuff, dance, music, rock, and I was into, well, I've always been into a little bit of everything, but back then I was into a lot of rock, but there was also this kind of dance music thing happening, and Baby's Got Back by Sir Mix-a-Lot was a big song then, and I remember we couldn't get it. Again, back in the day before internet and everything else, we drove to Toronto to, I'm sure it was just a single. So, you know, for the kids that don't know, a 2-sided tape usually had one song on one side and another song on the other side. What a bizarre concept in some ways, but so we had Baby's Got Back, and we blasted that over and over again and drove up and down Yonge Street. My buddy Graham, he had the best stereo system. I know he had a Pioneer. He had a couple of cars over the years, but I think it was his Volkswagen Rabbit. He had the biggest. And every time he blasted stereo, screws would be falling out of the interior, and things would be falling apart on his car. I literally hear him. My parents would say that 5 minutes before he showed up at the house, because the stereo was so loud. You go, oh, Graham's on the way, and I'd even have my shoes on, ready to go before he pulled into the driveway. But we'd go up and down Yonge Street in Toronto for hours playing this stupid song. Windows down, just some badass, you know, whatever we were, 16, 17, 18-year-olds or whatever. We couldn't have been old enough to drink because we didn't go to the bar. I think we must have been 17 years old. We weren't at any bars at that point. Well, other than the Peekaboo in Belleville. That's another story. Got into that bar well before age. And then I actually got kicked out of there on my birthday because they were so mad that I've been going in there for a couple years. Anyway, Toronto, cruising around, windows down. Man, that was some good days. Good stuff. What a bunch of morons. Awesome. Oh man, this is another killer. Guns N' Roses, when they come out with that double album, Future Illusions, November Rain, and the rest of the mayhem. Again, another crazy time, right? In the early 90s, we were kind of getting away from cassette tapes into CDs, and I wish I could remember, what a cassette cost. Like a cassette, I think like $12, maybe 15 back then. I don't know. And then when the CDs come out, they were $25 a piece, which is a friggin' fortune. I think I was making $6-7 an hour. So that was like 2.5 hours worth of work for a CD. And I remember when Guns N' Roses came out with that Use Your Illusions 2 CDs. Like, frig, that was $50. I thought I bought those 2 CDs, and I'm thinking, man, if my parents ever found out I dropped $50 on 2 CDs, I'd be in so much trouble. They never did. I don't think they watched YouTube, so I'm probably still safe. It's just mayhem, and like getting your CD player, and so much money. That was a lot of money. I mean, people complain now. You can get, I know vinyl's going up again, and for a while vinyl was $20-30, and now $50 records. Pretty cheap. You can get into a $70 or $80 record pretty quick, but frig, we're talking 30 years later, I'm still getting vinyl for $50. Like, I spent $50 on 2 CDs back in the early 90s, but man, Guns N' Roses were something else, man. That was like, it was a good time. Good time. I wasn't super into the grunge. I was kind of transitioning from the Kiss and the AC/DC into the Skid Row and Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue and Poison and all that stuff. And I listened to the Nirvana and that, the Nirvana stuff. I got into the Pearl Jam stuff. And you know what? Actually, one that I really liked. We got into, I don't know what genre it is, rock, or it's not grunge. But what I got into then was the stuff like the Chili Peppers, Jane's Addiction, and that kind of stuff. Man, that was some good summer stuff. In Ontario, they were banning Main-Lawn camping, or no alcohol during Main-Lawn camping. And about the time when we were hitting the camping equated to alcohol time. So, man, it's a good adventure. Some secret ways to get alcohol into provincial parks. That could be another episode. The different things. We always seemingly had a pot of stew on the stove, which was full of everybody's alcohol that they brought camping. Because we had to get rid of the evidence. Good times in this Charger for sure. I don't know if I'd ever buy one again, but maybe. This does have the original rubber on it, but I see if I can get in the fishtail a little bit. This guy's actually sticking to the track considerably well, considering maybe the body sits on this HP7 really well, because it's not fishtailing a lot. You know what? Another funny memory that comes to mind back then. Such a good time. 1990, a little bit before. My brother, Graham, I think Chris, maybe Claire, maybe even went to Toronto, and I didn't go. There was some stupid reason because I had to work at Subway, but they went to see. This Robert Plant, man, again back then, just exploring music and like getting into the 60s and the 70s stuff. I'd been into the Beatles when I was younger, but getting into Zeppelin, The Doors, Pink Floyd, all that stuff, and then when Robert Plant started coming out with new music, and it was like, wow, we could actually see the singer of Zeppelin. Like, that was just mind-blowing. In the 90s, this is like music of decades ago that no way, you'd never be able to see Zeppelin perform. I mean, they weren't together, Bonham was no longer there, but it was just like, wow, you could see Robert Plant, and that was such, I wish I had seen that concert. I still wish. But the funny thing was, the opener for Robert Plant is what everybody talked about for months afterwards with this new band that nobody had ever heard of before, was the Black Crowes. And this guy, this front man, he was just like absolute mayhem. I remember my brother Jason telling me, you know, this crazy guy, Chris Robinson, you know, down to 26 or a Jack Daniels while they did their opening set and finished the bottle off. I was like, wow, that was like, you drank the whole thing, and like whatever time their set was, and like nobody had a clue who the Black Crowes were. But again, it wasn't, you know, run home, go to Spotify or whatever and turn it on. Somebody had to go find the CD, and a lot of the time it was either going to Toronto or even driving down into New York, into the U.S. to get a new CD. And man, little did we know how popular the Black Crowes would be. And they actually just came out with a new album, which is really actually pretty good in 2025. Super cool story. You know, I finally did get to see the Black Crowes 2 years ago. We went down to Missoula, Montana. They were playing at the what's that amphitheater called down there? Shoot, I should know this. Drawing a blank. I went down and saw Coulter Ball down there too, but the Black Crowes were playing down there. We went down there, and the next day we headed into town, and there's a record store in Missoula, and of course that's escaping me as well, but we got to chat to the owner, and the day before, the day of the concert, Chris Robinson had actually come into the record store, and this guy was like, I was so excited to see, oh my God, that's the guy from the Black Crowes. I mean, obviously a huge music lover, and he's like, excuse me, are you Rich Robertson? And Chris was like, I'm Chris. Oh my God, and like you guys said, I felt like such a moron, but he was so excited. You know, Chris left with 10 or 12 albums, and he listed them all off, and you know, he was so excited that Chris had come into his store, and what a cool story, and what an amazing concert and venue. I don't remember what the heck that stupid place is called. It's off that Blacktop Brewery. They bus you out to an amphitheater off the rocks. It's not Red Rocks, but it's the same kind of idea. Like, what an amazing venue, small. You know, we're on the floor of that one. Coulter, we sat on the grass, but it's like you can see. It's amazing. It's like going to well, you know, I'm going to say the Grey Eagle, but if anybody's not from Calgary, they have no idea what I'm talking about. Just a small venue. It's not a giant arena. I was so happy to be able to see the Black Crowes, and they're kind of pulling themselves together and coming out with some new music, and the brothers appear to be not fighting for a while here, so man, there's such a good time with music and cars, and you know, I know a lot of people with slot cars in that older generation, the muscle cars and the 50s and the 60s and everything like that, but I mean, I think it translates, you know, and I got, you know, the 80s and 90s for me. Today, kids, I don't know. I mean, my son likes fiddling around and putting together, you know, old Ford Rangers and stuff. So I think there's still some hope out there. I don't know. In a few years, you're not going to go tinkering with your Tesla, I don't think. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But man, there's just so many good memories with cars and music. And yeah, and this car, I don't know where I'm going to put him, but he's got a special spot. This Thunderbird that looks a lot like my Dodge Charger, 1981 Dodge Charger. Good stuff. Yeah, well anyway, thanks for joining me today. I've had a fun time reminiscing. I hope you enjoyed some of it. Me and my rambling. But good stuff, and I think, again, I think that's why a lot of people love slot cars, and I hope the future generations do as well. Like, they're fun, they're simple and complex. More, like I say, the more I get into racing, the more I realize I don't know about slot cars. I know about going round and round and enjoying that, but the more I get into racing and people start talking about different gear ratios and tire widths and tire, soft, hard. I don't know what the heck you're talking about. Really. Oh yeah, I replaced the 14 gear with a 12 gear for this reason, that reason. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually, maybe. But I think that's why they're fun. They just they're simple as you want them to be, and complex as you want them to be. Right on. What a great day. I'm going to continue to enjoy this as always. So thanks for joining me today on Sunday Drive. Hope you have an awesome Sunday. Have a great week. We'll see you next time on Sunday Drive. Until then, keep her in the slot. Oh! That reminds me of another story. My charger went off the road, but we'll save that for another time. Good stuff. Still alive.